Hello, welcome to today's video. Look at me, Rhyme Master Supreme. What's up? How's it going? Okay, so listen. Yes, I bought a Natasha Denona palette, okay? And I'm not proud of it. The Natasha Denona Glam Palette. Yes, I paid money for it. I had a coupon code to Natasha Denona's website and this palette just called to me. I know that it's just a neutral palette, but I wanted it. I don't know. Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes often call to me, but they're so expensive. I don't have a ton of experience with Natasha Denona palettes for that reason, but I do have one little 5-pan mini palette of hers. It's the mini Lila palette, and I love that mini palette. And if you come around here often, you know I love cool tones, and this is a cool toned neutral palette. Not only that, but this palette has a lot of shimmers in it, so that kind of drew me in as well. And on top of that, this palette names the shadows after where, I guess, to Natasha Denona they would look right, if that makes sense. So we're gonna get into all of it. I'm gonna do swatches of the palette, and I'm gonna do 2 looks. So the first day, today, I'm going to follow the names of the shades and kind of try to pull this look together doing that. But then day 2, I'm just gonna go rogue. I'm gonna do whatever I want and just not even worry about what the shade names are called. And we'll see if I think it was worth my money. Probably not gonna lie. Pray for me. If you're new here, my name's Haley. I would really appreciate it if you consider subscribing to my channel before you go. That would be so really awesome and cool. All right, let's get started. Definitely for the price of this eyeshadow palette, I have encountered much more impressive unit cartons, but that's okay. Whenever that happens, I just tell myself that means all of the money went into the product. Oh, wow. Here it is, very reflective. It feels super nice. Like this back part is kind of like a soft matte touch moment thing. Da-da-da, here it is. What a beaut. What a neutral, what a neutral beauty. I'm not gonna swatch them like by row or by column. I'm just gonna swatch them kind of with their corresponding thing. Like you'll see. Here are the shimmers that are named center of the eyelid or center eyelid. Ooh. Okay, these are the outer eyelid shades. Ooh, very nice. And they swatch like a dream. Beautiful. These are the inner corner shades. And then this one is called Brow Bone. Cuteness. So bam, there's all the shimmers in the palette. Love a good assortment, a good range of shimmers. I live. And then these are the mattes. Some of them are kind of lighter tones, so it might be hard to see on my pale arm. But this one is called Crease. This one is called Transition. That one, can you see it? This one's called Smoke. This one's called Blend. And then this one's called Lash Line. So I didn't press too hard in the pans for those mattes, so those aren't the best swatches. Okay, I'm gonna follow the instructions sort of, and I'm gonna start with this shade called Crease. Take it in the crease. Okay, cute. This isn't necessarily the shade that I probably, like, just looking at it would have dipped into, but this is a good shade, and we can add to it and build on it, you know. Okay, so it's yeah, it's not a very deep shade, so it's not like really popping, which is fine. Now, I could just stop there and go ahead and go in with the shimmers, but I want to deepen things up a little bit more. So I'm going to use this shade called Smoke, this brown shade. I don't really know what smoke means. My guess is like smoke out your lash line. I don't know. I'm gonna use it to deepen up the crease though. Then I'm gonna take some of this shade called Blend, and we're gonna blend. Specifically, I'm gonna blend like the outer edges. Now, I don't necessarily feel as though this step is totally necessary, but for the sake of just kind of trying out these shadows, I thought I'd give it a go. Okay, I managed to get things a little bit wonky one side to the other, so I took my tape off so that I could kind of see better. I am struggling today, y'all. I don't know what my deal is. I don't know that it's necessarily the palette's fault. Maybe it is. I haven't watched any reviews on it. Maybe I should have. I just assumed since it was Natasha Denona that it would be exceptional. I was expecting something exceptional. This is not impressing me so far. This side looks great. This side is a hot mess. I don't know why I can't get it to work. I must have laid my primer down funny or something over here. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, so things actually ended up getting a little out of hand. I'll probably leave it in, but I ended up having to like clean up around my brow and blend out, and oh my gosh, okay. That was a little bit stressful. Let's move the heck on. I'm gonna take this one called Outer Eyelid and put it, you guessed it, on the outer eyelid. Then I'm gonna take this almost like pinky toned one on the center of the lid, as is suggested by the name of this shade. Finally, gonna use this inner corner shade on the inner corner. Yes, ma'am. I really hope this comes together once I put more makeup on. I'm hopeful, but definitely not living for this right now, which is problematic, to say the least. All right. Let me go get everything else on and I'll be back. Okay, so I ran out of time getting ready. So I had to leave, go to a meeting, come back. Therefore, makeup has been lived in a little bit at this point. But let me kind of come up here. This part is always so awkward for me because I'm trying to make it so that y'all can see the look, but I can't see anything when I do this. So I'm just gonna kind of, maybe if I, surely some of those angles will give us a good look, right? So it's nice. I like it. I don't love it. You know, I was really worried about over here because things got a little out of hand with my mattes and the crease over here, and it still looks a little bit splotchy and heavy, a little bit more so than I would like it to. I don't know if that's my fault though, because this side turned out pretty nice. So that could totally just be all me. Definitely as of right now, I am not living for this palette the way that I thought I would be. Yeah. So anywho, see you tomorrow. Hello and welcome back to day 2 of Haley Spends Too Much Money on Makeup. So today, day 2, I'm just gonna do whatever I want and I'm gonna pay no mind to what the shadow's called. I already started editing the stuff from yesterday, and I think I know where things kind of went wrong for me. It was around the time that I decided to use this blend shade to blend out the crease shade. I think that they were just a little bit too close in tone, so they kind of blended together to make a big old fat mess on my eye. So yesterday was tough. It took me a long time to get my look accomplished. But I don't know that that's the eyeshadow palette's fault, just because I had one eye looked fine and then the other eye didn't look as great. The other thing that I will say about yesterday's look was I wished that the shimmers would have popped a little bit more. I might do like a little bit of a cut crease today, but cut creases just take a long time. Yesterday I was like kind of rushed to doing that look. I didn't start out rushed. I sort of had planned for about the time I was expecting it to take me to do a look with this eyeshadow palette based on previous Natasha Denona experiences. Does that make sense? Let's just get started. I'm going to first go into the shade Smoke, just like opening the palette, looking at it. That is what I sort of naturally gravitate towards first. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time getting these shadows to look how I want them to look. I don't understand it. I'm usually pretty inclined to blame myself when these types of things happen, and it very well could just be me. But I don't usually have these types of problems though. I'm taking a little bit of the shade Lash Line. Let's see if I can just sort of right there in the crease. Okay, that worked out pretty nicely actually. Okay, now I'm I'm nervous about this, but I'm gonna take some of the shade Crease and use it to blend out the Smoke shade that I have that's actually in my crease. Just a little bit. We're not gonna overdo it. Six brushes. I used 6 brushes to get this done. I gotta quit messing with the mattes though, or I'm gonna be late. So we're just gonna move on. So yesterday I used this shade in the center of my lid. I'm gonna use it for the outer corner today. Okay, finally, I'm gonna take the shade Inner Corner that I used on my inner corner yesterday, and we're gonna take her all over the inner 2/3 of my lid. All right, well, here we are. Let me get everything else on. I'll be right back. Let y'all get a little glimpse of the look. It looks fine. It's fine. I think that I had like really built this experience up in my head to where my expectations were maybe too high for this palette. I don't think it's a bad eyeshadow palette, but when you are in the price bracket that Natasha Denona is in, I just want it to be like amazing. I don't know, like my little mini Lila palette. I have loved this palette. I've used it a bunch, and the shadows in this one are so easy to work with. I don't know why. I don't understand why I had such a hard time with these shadows. I don't know, like I kind of want to say that like they were hard to blend. I'm like, is it me? Did I do something? I don't understand. Here's what I'll say, okay? I am going to keep using it. I plan on getting my money's worth out of it. I'm gonna use this a lot. Perhaps I will get better at applying these specific shadows. Do I recommend it? Not at all. Do yourself a favor, don't buy this palette. It just didn't work for me, and I don't understand why. I'm inclined to blame myself, but I adjusted as many conditions as I could. I used different brushes. I used different eyeshadow primers. I tried to follow the directions. I kind of did my own thing. It just didn't work. I think specifically the mattes I just found kind of hard to blend. Particularly, I feel like this shade Smoke was at the root of most of my problems, and this is like the one shade that I feel like I would use a ton out of this palette, you know? It's just a mid-tone, cool tone, brown shadow. But I had a hard time with it. I don't know. It just, like, both eye looks yesterday and today took me so much longer than I had anticipated it taking. And as far as the shimmers go, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by the shimmers as well. Like, this is the lightest shimmer that's in the palette, the one that's on most of my eyelid. That's the lightest one. And I like to have a nice pop right there, you know? As far as how the shadows wore, yesterday they wore fine, like they stayed on my eyes all day. I think overall, I just wish that the shimmers packed a little bit more of a punch, and wish that the mattes didn't pack so much of a punch, you know? They're like adequately pigmented. The pigment wasn't the issue for me. I don't know. I'm gonna go watch some other reviews because I just feel weird. Like, I just feel like, you know, Natasha Denona is that brand that people roll their eyes at how much it costs, but then people that have Natasha Denona products are always like, oh, they're so good. Like I said, I'm gonna keep messing with this one, see if like there's, I don't know, a trick to applying these shadows or something to get a better look. Let me know what you guys think. As always, go ahead and clock me in the comments for spending this much money on the palette. I know it's too much money for an eyeshadow palette, for a neutral eyeshadow palette, I know. And I bought it anyways. But hey, you get what you pay for, except for when you don't. All right, well, on that note, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll come back and watch another one again very soon. So I'll see you in the next one.